All right, this is the first section in chapter 9, which is all about circles, and our first lessons on circles vocabulary and graphing. We have two goals for today. Goal number 1 is I can identify a radius, a diameter, a tangent, secant, and a chord of a circle. So those are all vocabulary words for a circle. Do you know what all of them are? And then the second goal is I can graph a circle given an equation. So if I gave you an equation of a circle, can you graph it? Both of these things, I feel like people know what a radius and a diameter are, but the rest of them not. And writing an equation of a circle or graphing it, you don't know how to do that yet, so I'd give yourselves 1 for both. Okay, so here is vocabulary word that we should already know. The blank of the circle is a set of all points on the inside. So what is this called right here? It's called the interior. So the interior are all the points on the inside. The exterior are the points that are on the outside of the circle. So also what we need to know is that this is called circle P. How you write it is like this, circle P. We name the circle by its center. So this would never be circle A or circle B. That's circle P, just by the center. Okay, and we pronounce this right here, circle P. All right, so now we have 2 more vocabulary words. A blank is a segment in a circle that has one endpoint on the circle and one endpoint at the center. So one endpoint on the circle, one endpoint at the center. What's this called right here? That is called a radius. Now an example would be AP is a radius. What's another radius? I'm going to put or here. Okay. This is another radius, PB or BP. Okay, so that's another radius. I'm just going to leave one of them highlighted or darkened. Next, it says a blank is a segment in a circle that has both endpoints on the circle and it passes through the center. So if you notice here, 2 endpoints on the circle and then it passes through the center. That is a diameter. An example of the diameter is segment AB or BA. Okay. All right, so here's the new vocabulary. A blank is a segment whose endpoints lie on the circle. Okay, so that is very similar to the definition of a diameter, except for it doesn't have to go through the center. So a chord is a segment whose endpoints lie on the circle. So if you look right here, these endpoints are on the circle. It's not going through the center. This segment right here, AB, is a chord. All right, next we have a blank is a line that intersects a circle at 2 points. So if you look right here, if it was just from here to here, that's a chord. But notice it goes on forever and ever. So since it goes on forever and ever, and it intersects the circle twice, this is a secant. The D in my chord disappeared there. There we go. All right, next we have a blank is a line in the same plane as the circle that intersects it exactly once. So if you look, this line hits the circle once. It doesn't hit it twice, okay? That is called a tangent. So this right here is a tangent. And then we have that point right there where it hits the circle at that one point. That's called the point of tangency. Point of tangency. Okay, and I forgot to write in here that this was the secant. Secant. Okay? So chord is a segment whose endpoints are on the circle. A secant is a line who intersects a circle twice. A tangent is a line that intersects a circle once, and it also can be a segment that hits a circle once. And then the point where it hits is called the point of tangency. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go through, well, in class I would do example 1 together and then have you try example 2 on your own. So you're going to pause the video to try example 2. So the first one says, identify each line or segment that intersects circle L. So notice it's circle L because the center is L. I want chords. So I'm looking for any segment that has endpoints on the circle. So if you look right here, this is a chord. That's JM. So JM is a chord. Are there any other chords? Are there any other chords? Segments whose endpoints are on the circle. So endpoint, that's a chord also. So, and KM. Now you might be saying to yourself, wait, KM is a diameter. It is. KM is also a diameter, but is JM also a diameter? No. So a diameter is a chord, but not all chords are diameters. Okay? All right, let's do a secant next. So secant is a line that intersects a circle twice. So here is a line right here, and it is intersecting the circle twice. So line JM is a secant. So if I went like this, it's wrong. That is correct. All right, next one is a tangent. I'm looking for a line that only hits the circle once, which it does hit it right here. Now, people in the past, I've seen them accidentally call this MH. This is just one point, which is H, so I can't name it by the point. But this right here is a lowercase letter that's next to the line. I can name it by that. So M is the tangent line. All right, last but not least, I have my radii. So remember, the radii are the segments that go from the center, and then they have a point on the circle. So there's a radius, LJ. There's another one right here, which is LK. And then here's a third one right here, which is LM. All right, so let's write those down. LJ, LK, and LM. All right. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try the next one on your own. All right, let's see how you did. Chords, there's a chord right here, which is QR or RQ. Anything I write, you can write backwards, then a segment above it. Are there any more chords? There is another chord right here, right? The points are drawn in, but they're labeled. So chord ST is another chord. But then you might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, ST is a diameter. It sure is. Or you can put TS, right? All right, now I need a secant. A secant is a line that intersects the circle twice. If you look, this line right here intersects the circle twice. That is line ST. Make sure you put lines above it. All right, next we want a tangent line or a tangent segment. A tangent line is right here. It hits the circle once, but there's 2 points on it, and those 2 points are U and V. So this is line UV. Last but not least, our radii. So there's PS, PQ, and PT. PS, PQ, and PT. Okay. So that's it for our vocab. Now what we're going to do is we are going to move on to graphing circles. But before we do that, let's do a quick review. If I asked you to graph the following, what would you be graphing? Okay, so like, what do I mean? Is it a heart? Like, what is it, right? Y equals 2x minus 6. What is that? That is a line. It's in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, right? What about number 2? What is that? Well, there's a square right there. You'd be graphing a parabola. It's called a quadratic, but you'd be graphing a parabola. This right here, the number 3, that's another line. How do I know it's not a parabola? There is no square in it, right? But it's also in point slope form. It's in y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, okay? What about the next one? Square there, it's another quadratic. This is parabola. Next one, it's not a line, because if I would multiply this out, that's x times x, which is x squared, all right? So this is another parabola. And it's just in intercept form, so you can find the intercepts. There's one at 2, 0, and negative 8, 0, right? Okay, so let's just remind you that we know those equations. So now we are going to learn the equation of a circle. So the center of a circle is called HK, okay? Just like this parabola up here, let me go back up to it. This is in the form y equals a times x minus h squared plus k, right? And this one's in the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. It's standard form, okay? So HK is the center of the circle, just like HK is the vertex of that parabola. So HK is the center of the circle, and then the radius is R. To write an equation of a circle and to graph it, you need the center and you need the radius. Now, here's what the equation looks like. It's parentheses. X minus h squared. So just like in a parabola, right? It's like that. Okay? But then you have plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay? So I'm going to start with one where we're not going to graph it, and then we actually will graph some. So this one's just find this information. Given the circle, x plus 5 quantity squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 100, find the center and the radius. All right, the center is HK. If you look at here, this is the opposite of H, the opposite of K. So I'm going to take the opposite of this, the opposite of this. So HK is negative 5, positive 3. This is R squared. So R squared is 100. Square root plus or minus. I get R is plus or minus 10, but the radius is always positive. It's a length of a segment, so it's 10. Do you have to show this work right here? No. Okay? You don't have to. I just don't want to put the answer down and only the answer and then have people be like, what did the 10 come from? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get that information and then we're going to graph these. So we're going to do 2 together and then I'll have you try 2 on your own. And then we'll move to writing an equation of a circle, okay? All right, so I need the center first. So the center, 0, 0, because there's nothing being subtracted off of this, nothing being subtracted off of this. Then I need the radius. R squared is 81, so R is 9. And now I'm going to graph my circle. So I'm going to start by graphing my center, which is 0, 0. And then I'm going to graph 4 points, 4 extra points. And they're all going to be 9 away from the center. So I'm going to go up 9. I'm going to go down 9. I'll go right 9. And I'll go left 9. Then I'm going to take these 4 points right here and connect them to make my circle. And there it is. Okay. All right, let's try another one together. The center, HK. The opposite of negative 3 is 3. The opposite of 4 is negative 4. And then R squared is 9, so R is 3. So I'm going to graph 3, negative 4. And then I'm going to go up 3, down 3, right 3, and left 3. And connect those 4 points. And there's my circle. All right, go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 on your own. Let's see how you did here. You should have your centers 3, negative 2. Your radius is 6. So 3, negative 2, a radius of 6. I'm going to go up 6, down 6. Oops. I was counting. That's why I have that mark there. And then right 6 and left 6. And then I can go ahead and connect these 4 points here to make my circle. All right, last one, my center, negative 4, positive 5, square root of 25 is 5. So negative 4, positive 5, and then up 5, down 5, right 5, and left 5. And then you can connect those like so. Notice I'm pretty quick with getting the points, even though that the x and y axis aren't labeled, because I know they're 10 by 10s. So if I was up 5 and then I had to go down 5 and up 5, I know I had to go to the 10 and then down to 0, right? Okay, next part is write an equation of the circle. So let me make sure they're all the same here or all similar. Wait, I think from last year I remember copying and pasting and forgetting to change one. Yes, I did. So I'll fix it for the notes. Let me see what I changed it to. And then I'll fix the copy that's in yours so you won't even notice. Hold on, let's see, what's this one? Oh, it's just a repeat. Okay, so we're only going to do 2 of them. I'm going to do one with you, and then you're going to try one on your own. So we don't have to, oh, it's just E repeated on accident. That's what it is. Okay, write an equation of the circle, okay? So remember, to write an equation of a circle, you need 2 things. You need the center, and you need the radius. So my first question is do I have the center? The answer is yes. This is the center. -3/2. So that's h and that's k. So what I know is that I can start writing my equation, right? I have h and I have k. So I'm going to do x minus, and then it's -3, so it's going to turn into +3 squared, plus y minus, it's a 2, and then squared, equals, and now I just need that number, okay? So my next question to you is, do I have my radius? So the answer is no, okay? The radius is this distance right here, and I don't have it. So yes, I could use the distance formula to find it, but that's not the way I teach it. So what I tell everyone to do is I say put a box around this because you're almost done with the answer, okay? People who don't do that, I'll show you what they put as their answer in a second. Okay, so I did not give you R, but I did give you another point, which is X and Y. So what I can do is I can plug in X here and I can plug in Y here and see what I get, and that'll be my radius squared. So I'm going to do that math off to the side. I'm going to plug in 4 for X, so I have 4 plus 3 squared plus, and then I'm going to plug in 5 for Y, so 5 minus 2 squared. And I'm going to see what that is. So 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 squared is 49. Plus 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So I have 49 plus 9, which I suggest you do 7 squared plus 3 squared first, but if you can do it in your head, that's fine. 49 plus 9 is 58. So I have equals 58. And there's my answer. Now, the reason that I have you box everything that you've done so far is because I'll have people put equals 58 here and they'll box this. This is not the equation of a circle. That's just math. Like, that's a true statement. 4 plus 3 squared plus 5 minus 2 squared is 58, but that's not the equation of your circle. So I say don't write it there, and I say make sure you put a box around your answer and then just fill in that number. Okay, why don't you try the last one on your own, see how you do. This is h, this is k. X minus 2 squared plus y minus, it's a -7, so plus 7 squared equals, and I'm going to go ahead and box this because I'm almost done. I just have to get r. So remember, this is x and this is y. So I have -3 for x and then minus 2 squared. I'm just following along with this right here, plus. Then I'm doing parentheses. But now I need y, which is 1, plus 7 squared. Get rid of all these lines that I drew in here. All right, so now I have to clean this up. -3 minus 2 is -5. And then I have to square that, plus. That's 8 squared. So -5 squared is 25, not -25. And 8 squared is 64. 25 plus 64 is 89. So then I can put the 89 right here, and I have my equation of my circle. And that's it. Go ahead and re-rate yourself on how you feel about our 2 goals. How do you feel about the vocab? How do you feel about graphing a circle?